everyone, welcome back. Tonight we are going to take a look at a bug that has been plaguing me for like a week, and it is really frustrating, and I would like to get it solved. But first, quick updates. And I apologize, I am running on a low amount of sleep and a low amount of Mountain Dew, but I fixed the Mountain Dew problem. Well, the sleep problem we'll fix later. Okay, so quick update. GitCon was this week, and it was, in my opinion, rather good. If you are interested in checking it out, you can always hit the gitcon.com and watch live, or if you want a secret, if you just go to GitKraken's YouTube channel and go to the live tab, you can find GitCon Day 1 and GitCon Day 2 recordings from yesterday and today, and be able to check out all of the coolness there as well. Okay, what are we chasing? So here is the ghost that is bothering me. This implement Azure trusted signing. This is my current nemesis. So we have Azure trusted signing support, which we have implemented, and it works. And it works wonderfully. And how it works is inside of this, if I open up the Velopack solution, there is this file here, trusted signing tests. And specifically, it has some nice little checks here. And in particular, if we're running in CI, meaning on the GitHub Actions pipeline, it is looking to make sure that we actually attempt to run this test, right? We have the skippable fact, which allows us to skip it if it's not Windows, because Azure Trusted Signing requires Signtool, which is a Windows-only tool. So if you want to use this, you have to run on Windows. And the way this ends up working is it ends up looking for the Azure CLI credential or an environment credential in order to be able to authenticate. Now, Velopack, we have an Azure Trusted Signing instance set up, and so that is what this is attempting to use. Izzy, Merry Christmas. Welcome back. But this is the part that frustrates me, right? I can run this test. Now, I have the Azure CLI installed. I am logged in. I believe I'm logged into the appropriate account. But we will test this here and prove this. This works. For both me and Kaylin, this works on our own systems once we've logged in. Because for this test to work, and part of why it has this is authenticated for code signing bit, is we only expect people who are part of the Velopack org to be able to run this test. For everyone else, it should get skipped. Right? That's the long and short of it. We don't expect this kind of thing to work for everybody, but at least for us, we expect it to work. And then if we come down here, expand this sucker out, it's going to think for a minute. It takes it a minute because it actually has to spin a project. Work Christmas party, so probably not wise to drive today. Good. That is wise, Izzy. Tonight, I am trying to solve this Azure Trusted Signing bug because it has plagued me for like 2 weeks, and I need time to track it down. So I am planning on trying to hunt this down, but I want to show it working here real quick just to prove that I'm not crazy. The fact that this thing isn't dead immediately is kind of an indication that this thing is probably about to work. Generally, when it fails near instantaneously. Because previously the failure was it wouldn't find the needed token and fail out. But the test does take a little bit to run because it has to gen a project, compile the project, and then sign said project and all of that jazz. So I'm going to let this run for just a moment. There we go. So the important thing here, the test passed, right? This is the big idea. Green check mark, test works. And we can kind of look at the output and see what had happened. Is it did a .NET publish on a basic C# application. It packaged it up using Velopack, and then said, "Oh, okay, we're packaging with Velopack, and we would like to use Azure Trusted Signing." And so we have the Velopack public profile and we have a code signing account name. Great. Again, these are things that only people who are part of the Velopack org will be able to authenticate for. For everyone else, the test just gets skipped. And the pipeline is set up to authenticate as well. And it runs through, and then it successfully signs the application. And that's the end goal. Here's the problem. And this is the part that frustrates me to no end. This test fails on the pipeline. And this is what is so incredibly frustrating. And it fails with the most obnoxious error. Let's see. Sign command failed. The parameter is incorrect. This is not a helpful error message, right? Now, I have some suspicions on what is going on. And specifically, my suspicions kind of, let's see, let me get my tool set up. All right, my suspicion kind of revolves around this kind of thing here, right? There's the double quotes. There's some fancy stuff that's going on to be able to execute this command. And the only reason this thing is mildly complex, right? If we go and look at, let's see here. If we go into, actually, we can just jump straight to because I know where the code is. It's in here, and commands, Windows. Let's see, is it pat command runner, I believe, and then get shortcut, runtime dependencies, blah 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 blah. Sign files implementation. This is where it ends up doing the actual work. So for all of the stuff to use Azure Trusted Signing, you still use Signtool.exe. You have to pass it some parameters. And the key ones here are you need this dlib assembly with this dmdf passing in a JSON file with just those parameters. So not overly complex, but it does add a decent number of items to the command line. And then this helper sign function here, this one is actually, after doing a bunch of work, calls run signing command, and this is what's actually doing the cmd.exe. And the only reason it's dropping down into going through all of this, because my default setting when I run into weird escaping things like this is don't use the arguments, because the arguments is a type string. Process start info has an arguments list option where you can just feed it a list of arguments and it will work. Right? And that just passes through. The part where it usually falls over, and part of doing this is to try to do things in a cross-plat kind of way. The other thing that makes this especially painful here is we are attempting to do this invocation, and Velopack has a small templating type engine built into it, specifically around this sign tool template, because some people may want to use sign tool, some people may have a variety of other tools that they may use to sign with. And so in order to support being able to do that, Velopack supports a sign template with these magical little curly brace file dot as options that will be used if you want to say, hey, use this other tool for signing. That's the whole reason why this thing is a string, and why it's not just as simple as me switching it out and going, oh, well, yeah, of course, let's not use the process start info the way we're doing. That is the reason why this gets slightly more interesting. It's also the reason why we have this weird redirection, because we have to be able to pull the output. Sign tool doesn't play nice with redirected output, hence the little wackiness that you see here. Now, the test passed though, right? It works on my system. So then what the heck is it doing wrong here? Right? Because Signtool.exe, you'll note this is part of the repository. This is checked in. This isn't something fancy. So in an effort to reproduce the problem, I was like, you know what? I'm willing to bet it has something to do with my system, right? So if I open up PowerShell, all right? And we go here. Open this sucker up. I have spun up a VM in Azure, and I have gone to great lengths to try to have this VM be as light as possible. I wanted it to be as close to an Azure build agent as I could get it. So I have not installed pretty much any dev tools. I have done no installs that our pipeline wouldn't have already done, because there's a number of things that we do install up here, right? We install .NET, we install Cargo to compile Rust and that kind of thing. So I tried to keep this thing as smooth as possible. It's not perfect because some of these things, like the if I back up here, right, like our build pipeline is mildly complex, right? There's a lot of stuff going on here, so I tried to keep it somewhat similar, even though each job runs on its own separate machine, different thing, right? So it's like, well, I'm going to try to keep it close to that. So that was the goal. But if I come in here and I do, let's see here, I have .NET build, and I'm gonna compile in release mode, just to be clear that I am attempting to match what the pipeline is doing, in particular, because while we look, that guy's going here, right? If we check this, right? So this is doing, stop making my life hard, right? So this is doing Velopack packaging tests, and it's doing release mode, right? So this is important. The -L is just for the console output, and this is doing a no build saying, hey, this has been compiled previously, right? But the important thing here is that's the test project. It's doing a no build in release. We're off to the races, right? So if we go and we'll let this guy compile and run, this is not an overly powerful VM. I probably should have given myself a little more juice. And I'm willing to bet this is going to be a lot of work to find something that's going to be like a quotation mark. And it's going to be really frustrating to me. But my theory here is that running under old CMD is the problem. Okay, so we have that. So if we go test, right, and then we go cd Velopack packaging tests, right? I just want to make sure I get this matching. Packaging tests, Velopack packaging tests, yeah. So if I go .NET test, configuration release, and then I do filter signing tests, I think, what's the name of the class here that I want to filter on? I want to do trusted signing test, yeah. So we are going to go here, and we are, because I don't want to run all the tests. I only care about the one. All right. So if I run this, this is going to kick off the same test. There's only one test in this file, so filtering down to just the test class should be good enough. Oh, I didn't do a no build. Oh well. Oh well. We'll let it do a compilation, which I am sure it wants to do. Because I am convinced that there was a change, and I think it is around CMD. All right, okay, so an error occurred attempting to sign, and I want to verify I'm getting the same error. Parameter is incorrect, right? So there it is. There is the same error as what the pipeline is getting. This made me happy when I saw this, because it's like, perfect. I have replicated the issue. This also then made me sad, because I was like, and now I have to try to figure out how to fix it, right? Because now the hard part of actually diagnosing this thing down. Now, we're going to start with a couple obvious things. We're going to validate some pathing issues and just make sure that these things all actually line up properly. Let's see here. So Give me a file explorer window, and let's validate that the file paths are right. Which, again, I'm assuming these things are right. Otherwise, how would it work on my machine, right? Like, but I'm take nothing for granted right now. Okay, so Signtool works. We're gonna check here. So you'll note I am passing in Azure code signing dlib.dll, which should be all in here, right? Like this is set up locally, so that should be fine. I think this gets created and cleaned up as part of my... Let me open up a second window here. I think this one gets cleaned up as part of my test. So this may not... Hey. Don't do that. Don't do that. No. Don't. Whatever you're doing, stop. Okay. So I want to take a look here, and I'm going to just move this down, move this up. That way I can keep track of it. Because I am specifically looking at like this area here. Right, so C users, app data local temp 2, temp, and then we need to go 2, and then we're looking at Velopack, and then, yeah, so it gen some stuff, and then it cleaned some stuff up. This is where things are going to get weird, because I think I need to go through and edit some code to make this thing clean up properly, or I need to edit over here on a branch and then go through and do it. It's probably easiest to edit inline on the agent, but I think I want to use the... I think I want to find my change here and then go over and make the change on the other side. So what I would love to do is the code that compiles the app. I want to find where its deletion code is, and then I want to kill it. Because I want it to leave the file sitting around so I can test on the command line. So it does all of this process word directory, but it's got a temp directory cleanup-y thing built into it. Where is that? Where is that? Pack test app. Because all of these seem to be... I don't see a cleanup in here anywhere. Pack test app, which this all makes sense. So it's effectively just running a .NET publish. And I don't know this function. Ah, got it. Yeah. So this is the leveraging that arguments collection, which is great. That's what we were going for. Where is... Because I don't see it deleting... I thought it deleted this when it was all done. Am I crazy? Path helper, get test root path. Let me look here. Because this should have... Path, get test root. Yeah, so this, yeah, you'll note this is evil code, but it walks up the call stack. So for people unfamiliar with this, this is something similar that exception classes do, which is how you get your call stack thing. This is not a cheap call. This is part of what makes exceptions heavy, is getting that call stack, and so you can do that as well. And you'll note here, it's just you know, details. Walking back up, and that's all fine. But then hang on, if that is not deleted, where is the local temp2 Velopack? Am I missing something? Because the Velopack directory is empty. But I something's off, right? Because inside of here, there should be something. There's something that cleans these things up. Let me look here. There is something that cleans this stuff up, and I don't know where it is. Because it calls pack test app. It does the needful here. Writes the files, does all of the stuff. Where is the cleanup? Where is the cleanup? And then this would enumerate the files from the release directory. Oh, this using temp util get temp directory. This is the guy. Yeah, okay. This, yes, because there's the disposable, gets it back. Okay, got it. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of this guy's cleanup code, which is going to be here, which is going to be this temp file name, delete file or directory. So what we want to do is change this here to do something along the lines of return null. I think is the guy. I guess actually what might be cleaner is just replace this here with this. That will end up not clearing out anything. So where does this live? Open container folder. Show me your spot. So source lib C# util. That's the guy we want to edit. So if we go back to here, source lib C# util, and then we do not have, like I said, I've installed basically nothing. So we are going to do C# in Notepad. Just like we're in a party like it's the 1990s. Okay. Okay. There's that. Okay, so let's come back here. And this should now run again. This should still fail, but it should also recompile because I intentionally left off the -- no build again. Because you'll see 7 of 8 projects are up to date. It should recompile it, and then this time the hope is that it will leave those files sitting there so that I can then run this CMD on the command line, and we can just figure out what the incantation needs to look like, and then we can change the code. That's the game plan. That's what I hope I can do, and I hope I can solve it before my Mountain Dew's empty because I am exhausted. Okay. Good news, failed in the same way. Better news will be is if this thing, so temp2 Velopack, temp.2. Good. So now we see here that we've got this guy set up. All right. So the file it attempted to sign, Velopack temp2 preprocess packdir windows scroll.exe, packdir windows scroll.exe. Right. So it's attempting to go through and sign all of these files. If we check here, we should see that this guy not signed. Right? That is what we are going for. Okay, so what we need to do then is I would like to confirm that the executed command also fails for me. So if I do this, I'm just going to copy this because I think this is legit straight how it is. And I think if I just go here and do CMD, and I think I should be able to just do this and see the same behavior. Oh, but it's not going to quite work because it's redirecting output, which is what this guy here is. And if I back up and I open this with Notepad, right? Okay. So what I would like to do is delete this, rerun, and I should see the same behavior. Stop doing this, Microsoft. There we go. Okay, so there's the output that we were getting. The parameter is incorrect. Great. Again, this is not helpful at all, right? Like this frustrates me to no end. If I do this, I can't. Do I have copy and paste? Oh, I do. I did set up. It's not the signing. The parameter is incorrect. But we need to wait. So what did we pass in on ours? Is it really something that stupid? Because we intentionally did SHA-256 with an FD, which does match what this poster has here. So let's, yeah. It will work if you sign first with SHA-1 and then sign with SHA-256. Wait. Authentic code certificates. One for SHA-1 in order to ensure the files are accepted as valid Windows Vista, which do not support being signed with SHA-256, even if the SHA-1 algorithm is used. Wait, no. No. You're telling me that's the underlying problem? Update. The problem is with the timestamp server. Instead of using this, you need to use it like this for SHA-1. And like this for 256. Okay, so we're gonna test some of these theories. And we're gonna see how correct they are. So this one here seems to imply that timestamp common code. What were we passing for ours? Because the setup for this that we did was literally just taken from, let's see, Azure Trusted Signing. Because this is straight up out of their docs. So for people who haven't seen Azure Trusted Signing, this is Microsoft's kind of new way to provide signing at a very, very affordable rate compared to a lot of the alternative signing options. If you are needing to do code signing, like this is an option you should be looking into. The other thing is you immediately gain rep with Windows, because normally if you get a brand new cert, you have to build up some rep. Otherwise, you'll still be popping that UAC prompt on users until your certificate is trusted by Windows. If you go through Azure Trusted Signing, because Microsoft vets you, you immediately gain rep with Windows and you don't have to deal with that. It's also dirt cheap. I think their plans start at like $9 a month or something really cheap. Like, compare that to other signing options, it's insane. Like, it's absolutely insane. But signing also sucks, which is why we're trying to make Velopack do it. That way I can suffer so that you don't have to. Let's see. So we have the endpoint, use Signtool. So this is what it was based on, right? Like, this is what we did. Let's see here. So how does this command differ from what we ran, I think is the question, right? So let's just squeeze this guy up. So let's see. Signtool, sign. We don't have the -v, which we could add in. That's a thing that I'm noticing that I'm not. Oh no, we do have -v. We do have -debug. Let's see. FD SHA-256, good. TR, they put quotes around their timestamp server. We did not. Okay, because it is timestamp.acs.microsoft.com. Okay, TD, we got that. SHA 256, dlib, right? And then they've got path, this trust assigned dlib folder, x64, blah, blah, blah. Ours is just checked in, path to metadata.json, file to sign, which I think this matches theirs. And they call out the x64 bit. Okay, that's all fine. I'm cool with all that. So we've mirrored theirs. This is interesting to me here. This comment seems to indicate switching from T to TR, which I believe we've already done, and TD is SHA-256. TD obviously is the hash to use. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. So let's just take this command. Let's switch it to SHA-1 and see if that ends up being the solution. I'm gonna be real annoyed. Be real bloody annoyed. I may also want to run Signtool on its own really quick, just because I don't know what all these options are, and I'd kind of like to look into what they are. Open with Notepad. Parameters incorrect. Okay, so that's not helpful. Okay, let's start with something a little different first. Let's get this thing to where we can get faster output. So I don't want to redirect output anymore. I want to get this so it just dumps straight out to me. And I think we can get away with this. I think we can drop the quotes here. I want to make sure I replicate the problem, but let's see. But this should now dump to console with the same error. Okay. Okay, good. Now we can get faster iteration. Okay, so let's do this, and I want to do Signtool sign, and I assume based upon this signature, it's going to be old school Windows where it's /help. Of course not. That would have made sense. Okay. Try there. Okay. / is the magical incantation. Great. Thank you. This is the problem with older CLIs on Windows. You have to guess and check. Okay. So I wanted to break down that command so that I understood what all of the parts were. Let's see, specifies the file digest. So can I get that other thing up sitting alongside? Yeah, I want to have this sitting here so I can take a look at it. All right, and then we're going to take you. We're just going to slide you up like that, and then we're going to scroll this little guy up and down so I can see exactly what's going on. Okay, so -v, which I assume is going to be something like verbosity or similar. What do you do? What do you do? I want to understand you. Prints verbose success status message, blah, blah, blah. Slightly more information on error. Great. /debug displays additional debug information. Great. FD. Okay, Microsoft, what does this do? FD specifies the file digest algorithm. Okay, we kind of gathered that. TR, I assume, is time server. Yep, timestamp server URL. If this option or T is not specified, will not be timestamped. We do not want that. So we do want this. We could put quotes around it, but I don't think that's going to make any big difference for us. Let's see, TD. Let's see, TD algorithm. Used with the TR, got it. Switch to request the digest algorithm. Use the RFC timestamp server. Yep. Okay, got it. Excuse me. Okay, and then the other ones are just the paths. So that is everything. So, okay. So let's start with some obvious ones. In their docs, they quote their time server, right? An error occurred while attempting to sign. The parameter is incorrect. Let's see. I assume there's got to be something about Signtool and Windows that is different. I am making a sweeping assumption that the difference has got to be in the terminal. Just trying to see where the heck it would be. Because there's nothing else wacky about any of these paths, right? I don't think so. I mean, we quoted a bunch of these, but those should all be fine. Okay, let's go back here. Let's see. The Windows Server 2008, like this isn't Windows Server 2008. However, right, if we take a look at what this is, right, this isn't, there is a difference in operating system here because it is Windows Server, right? It's newer. I can't imagine it's got the same restriction, does it? Nah. Let's see. I'm trying to understand what the expectation is here. Switch to SHA-1 and then put the SHA-1 thumbprint in. There's no way that's the expectation. Right? Like that can't. Try using this. This adds AS onto here, it looks like. They also are doing a certificate. What does that switch do? Valid for longest. We should not need to do that. There's append this signature. I mean, that doesn't hurt to try, but I just don't see that making a difference. Yeah. Okay, so let's... And we already know that if we just switch these down to SHA-1, right, that's also not going to get us anywhere. So the key question then is which one of these things is actually the problem? I don't know that any of these... this link has some nice pointers. Needed for Windows version before XP Service Pack 3 requires to... Yeah, I cannot believe this is a signing issue on certain versions of Windows. Drastically change the content, blah 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 blah. Like this can't be. There's no way this is still a thing. Oh, Windows. No, there's no way. There's no way. This is so bloody old. Okay, let's... Known issues and troubleshooting. Hey, there we go. Let's see. If the error code starts with 8008, what were we getting? 8007. Okay, that's a little different. Place the debug in front. We already did this. Let's see if we can just hunt this article real quick for 8008. When you try to sign, when you try to sign invalid parameter that is 4 gigabytes or larger. Isn't this our error 0057? Let's look here. 8007 0057. Yep, that. And but it's squirrel.exe. Like, that's not a very big file. Yeah, it's 2 meg. So we aren't blowing through a 4 gigabyte file. This issue occurs because of ulong variable in the PE header that specifies the image size. Image size is 2 for down-level operating systems, blah, blah, blah. This is a design limitation since 1996. Holy crap. Make sure that any PE file that you try to sign is less than 4 gigabytes because the backwards compatibility risks, neither backports nor a permanent fix are currently possible. However, this issue is being investigated. Okay, so I have a hard time believing that that is what's biting us. There's no way that's what's biting us, right? Let me... I was going to look real quick and see if I can track this guy. Yeah. That would be a Windows thing and not your app. So, yeah. Yeah, Izzy, you are spot on the mark. So that with the PE being pre-execution environment. So, I don't know that. So you are correct that this limitation would be a Windows limitation. The only thing that's giving me pause is I build this. Like, this is, in this case, this executable that we are trying to sign is one that we compile. So, like, yeah, it's a Windows thing, but it's also something that's in my control, at least to some degree. But I don't think that's the problem, given the description here. I am somewhat curious. If I change this from Squirrel, right? What if I do testapp.exe, right? Like, I realize it's choking on that one, but it's going to try to sign all of them. Parameter is incorrect. So I think... Let me just, like, there's nothing... Again, I can't imagine this is a pathing problem because... Yeah, that matches. It was like, if it was a pathing problem, I would expect it to break on my local system. But it doesn't break on my local system. It does break on this VM, which is why I'm being real hesitant to install anything on this VM. Because right now it replicates the problem, and I'd like to know what the issue is. The fact that Signtool doesn't give back useful information is kind of obnoxious beyond belief. Is there anything useful up here? Okay, so let's see. 8007. In the event log. Oh. Is there more information in my event log? That would be helpful if there was more information. Like, for example, the parameter name would be nice. Right? Like, which parameter is invalid? That could be a helpful thing to provide me. rather than making me guess. So my OS is Windows 11 something. Let's see. So I'm running Windows 11 Pro, build 26100. So fairly up to date Windows 11 Pro, right? This one here is running Windows Server. So, and part of why I picked on this is I was trying to get something that was, wrong thing. Something that was closer to, so Windows Server 2022 Data Center Azure Edition. I was trying to get something that was going to be closer to what you get with a GitHub Actions runner. To try to replicate the issue. So let's see, 5:48 a.m. There's nothing in the last 30 minutes. So that's useless. Okay. So if there's nothing in the last 30 minutes, then there's nothing here. Okay, so that did not yield anything useful. Let's see. Well, hold on. Event viewer local, application and service logs, Microsoft Windows, Apex packaging. Hold on. Let me make sure I check the right spot before I get too carried away. I don't want to miss something too trivial. Okay, so I am in the wrong place. So application, Microsoft Windows, be big, Apex packaging OM, this guy. Okay. The timestamp here gives me pause because this does not look related to me. Let's see. Windows Server image likely has different PE files locally, as is meant for managing many variant OSs. That is very possible. The problem I have though is I really want Velopack really should work on like DevOps runners and GitHub runners, and so I'd like to understand before punting too much. I'm gonna just kick this one more time just to make sure I have something, because 5:50 a.m. and then like I see this thing here, but it doesn't appear to be related to timing of me. Okay. So there's that. It usually corresponds to one of the values. Blah, blah, blah. Because this is specifically around signing an MSIX. Maybe a time zone thing. That's an interesting idea. That's a very interesting idea. That's an easy thing to test. They do run UTC. Time server, blah, blah, blah. I think that's the appropriate time, UTC, right? 5:51 a.m. Yep, that checks. But I could move this thing into a different time zone, right? So we'll get it off of UTC, and let's put it over by me. Let's see, what am I, -7, -8? Let's see, Eastern time, Central time, Mountain time, Pacific. Okay, so we'll put it here for me. So 9:52 p.m. That matches my clock. I'm gonna go back to Squirrel just so I've got fewer things. No, and it's failing so quickly, like it's almost instantaneous. It can't be doing that much. What parameter would it be? Like, it's got to be looking at one of these parameters. What would it be looking at? What would it be looking at? Oh, I still have the SHA-1 in there. Let me back it up all the way to SHA-256. Get it all the way back to where we were. Yeah, because I hit enter and it is going very fast. Whatever it is, it has to be local. I can't imagine it's making a call out that fast. That would shock. Normally, I just flip airplane mode on and test it. But, you know, if I flip airplane on mode on my VM, that's kind of problematic. Since the VM's in Azure. Okay. Back to the Googles. Yeah. And the only reason for testing the SHA-1 was this lovely Stack Overflow page, which doesn't appear to be related. 0057. I really would like to see that. Because that's the wrong error code. Blah blah blah. This is where it's incredibly frustrating. You know, I do one crazy idea, right? Like I'm not getting hosed by like a weird architecture problem, right? Where it fails to load the dlib because of an architecture problem? Because we did just blindly check in the x64 binaries because that's the only one that we can realistically support. No. That shouldn't be a problem. I wasn't sure if it was like a weird ARM thing or something, but that would be weird. That would be weird. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. I've been able to find. Yeah, Signtool, you are not useful for outputting errors. Let's see. Sign code. How do we track this down? How do we track down what it is, which parameter, in fact, it is breaking on? Because we do have our JSON file, DMDF. Let me go up here. What was the DMDF? Passes the file's contents to the authentic code digest sign without modification. This option is equivalent to using Signtool separately with DG, DS, and DI switches. Okay, maybe we should back up and try to run these things individually rather than doing them all at once. The to-be-signed digest and the unsigned... The output digest will be... and path file to output XML file cdxml. So let's back up here rather than specifying this. Let's see here. Generates the to be signed digest and the unsigned. Okay, so if we run this individually, right? So rather than let's see, where is it? DMDF. If we just do DG, right? And then we're gonna go, I don't know, foo. So I don't know what else to send. Let's see. DG DSDI options is it incompatible with dlib DMDF function. Okay, so if I turn this off because it doesn't need the function right now because it's not going to be passing to it, right? Ha 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 ha. See, now we're making some progress. Okay. No certificates were found that match all the given criteria. Okay. Before I get too excited, let's go back here. I made the equivalent change here, didn't I? Yeah. Great. Okay. I would like to, let's see, open an external terminal. Do I not have my terminal settings? What? Okay. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Windows terminal, %D. I think, what is the Windows terminal? C:. Oh, what is the Windows terminal command line? I need the, yeah, so pro tip, when you're writing a command line, don't have your help pop a dialog. However, in this case, it will give me what I want. Position, size, Windows, option subcommand. I just want to know, where do I pass in the directory? Let's see, new tab, split pane, focus, move focus, blah blah blah, swap pane. Oh, come on, I know I've done this. There is a option to specify the starting directory. Hang on, small detour. Windows terminal command line. Why is it not just showing? It's not useful. There is a option. I've done this. I know it is there. Blah blah blah. Starting directory. No, I want to pass it in from the command line. Nope, that's not it. Nope, there's a way to call WT starting the current path. Yeah. -D. Was that not in the list? Is it not documented? That would be even dumber. So if I do booyah. Okay, so if we do backdoor Kraken /D, you want to put it in %D, in case people are wondering where I'm getting that. That's coming from right here. All right. Great. Exit. File. Open an external terminal. Oh yeah. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. .NET build release. So we'll let that thing think about its life for a moment, and then I want to go back up here because I should be able to do. It was this. Oh, this one was the one that had the. I'm gonna run this command next. Grab that guy. Because we're gonna run this command, grab its output, and then I am wondering, because we should be able to replicate these exact same steps each step of the way. Okay, so I then just need to go into test, Velopack packaging test, right? And then that, right? And this should work. I'm just going to confirm what I think I know, right? This should work on my machine. It should take itself 10, 15 seconds or however long it's going to go. But then in my local app data directory, I should find Velopack, right? No, local app data temp Velopack. Yep, there's some files that it's genning up. But in this case, it should then sign all of these files, which is what we're going for. I know I said 15 seconds and we're at like 50. Okay, so, but more importantly, test passed. Right, it didn't dump the output because I didn't set up the logger, but I can just go through and like the Squirrel.exe, right? We can go here and look at properties and we can see that it was in fact signed. So, huzzah, right? So what we can do then is I can take the command that I was trying to run here, right? So I scroll this guy back down. And I grab this because I think my user directory is the same on both these systems by happenstance. Let me see here. Are they the same? No, so I'm going to need to change up my user directory slightly for this. So I want a CMD directory. Right, I'm going to do this, and everywhere where we see, well, I got to change up. Okay, so I got to change a couple things. So I got to change the location of the repository. That's going to be different. Gotta remember I'm not in PowerShell. Let's see. So I don't need this. That's fine. That's fine. This needs to be that to match here. Yeah. Okay. This user needs to change the same to match there. Right. And if I run that, file not found. Let's see here. C uses app data local temp. Oh, it wants 2. I got way too much stuff in here. I don't think I want to be temp 2. I think I just want to be Velopack. We back this up. Local temp. I believe that's the path I'm looking for. Local temp Velopack temp 1 foo is where we were putting this. Yeah. And then this one becomes SQL and temp. I don't need the 2 there. Velopack temp 2. And then this has, let's see, preprocessed pactor win squirrel.exe. Okay, so that path now exists. It is finding a certificate. Oh. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so the difference may be the certificates available on the systems. Okay. I don't know what to do with that information yet, but it at least gives me a reason to know why it would work on one system but not the other. Okay. Let's see. The parameter is incorrect. It's interesting, it still gave me the same error, but then also spit out that. Is that what I got here? This one gave me no certificates were found that matched. This one found a matching one and then proceeded to error. It's interesting that I got, it's the same error code, isn't it? 0057? 0057, yeah. This is interesting. So if I clear this and just run Signtool.exe like that. Okay, sign. There we go. Okay, so we were trying to go DG path generates the to be signed digest and the unsigned PKS files. It seems like what it wants is, because in my case I gave it temp1 foo, but I don't know that that's, is it wanting a directory? Is that part of the problem? Because I didn't give it a valid directory. Let me put a foo up here and we'll point it at that. And just, because I'm not clear from this directions whether I'm not clear whether it wants this path to be a file or directory, based on the fact that it seems to be concatenating onto it, because the path gets file.dig and it seems like that's what it wants. Still gives the same error. I don't know what to do with that information. I wonder if we need to just move ourselves into this directory here. That way the file name can just be squirrel.exe. Let's try that. So if we do, is it pushter? There. Okay, and then if I do this now, and I make this just squirrel.exe, so that is now, we are in the local directory. Parameter is incorrect. I don't like the fact that it's just telling me the parameter is incorrect without any extra details. Which parameter are you unhappy with? Especially since you work normally. Which makes me suspect I don't know how to use this command. Sign FT. You know, I am noticing it may be because we put V and debug over here, but in their docs, where did they put it? They put V and debug at the beginning. I wonder if that's significant. Doesn't appear to be. More importantly, if I back this up to here, let me Let me actually get the full command working on my machine, because that would seem to indicate what it's actually trying to do, right? So this guy here is what we are looking to replicate. So if I take this guy and we go, what is going on? Come on, clear. Let's see. Pop. There. So if we put this in here, and then we're going to back up and change out a handful of things. This is d:/dev/Velopack, I believe is the right dev private Velopack. How do I have it in my private directory? I don't know why I did that. Okay, and then this ends up being, rather than keto K, and this becomes keto K. Right, and then we drop the temp to local temp Velopack. Right, so we have local temp Velopack, yeah. System cannot find the path specified. Okay, which one of you did I mess up? Oh, I got the wrong number of quotes there. That's problem 1. Okay, so that seems like it's firing on all cylinders. Okay, so that is firing on all cylinders, I think. Which means, in theory, right, if we do this, and we want to do use with the dlib options, the files without modifications. Right, so this, we are wanting to drop this. We are wanting to change dlib separately with the DG, DS, and DI switches as one atomic operation. So DG signs the digest only. Sign digest and then the input file and then because I kind of want to walk through each of these steps one at a time. I know it's doing it as one big atomic operation. Generates the to be signed digest and the unsigned PKCS7 files. The output digest and the PKCS will be in path file, dialog, and P7U. The output to output additional XML files. See, I think that's what I want to do. I think. So to do that, then, if I am grokking all of this properly, which I'm not going to claim, we don't need this and we don't need this. We do need the rest of it. We then need DG, and we then need to feed it a path into here, which I think becomes this, because I think that's what it wants. Following certificates were considered. The following one was selected. Great. Done adding additional stores. Signed to a returned error. The parameter is incorrect. Which parameter? Which parameter, sign tool? You are not helping me. This is mildly helpful, but how did the command above work if it's doing it as one big atomic operation? Like, is this even expected to work? Let's see if we can find some docs on sign tool, I think is the next step. Because sign tool /DG, I think is where I want to go. Signtool.exe. Bum. Yeah, the timestamping is an operation applied directly to the file itself, so it must exist locally. And see what gets genned. That's not a bad idea. We can add that in. Let's back it up over here. Put it after this one. Let's see, DXML. That doesn't take a parameter, does it? Nope. Did it make anything? Nope. Okay. Nice thought. Here's the answer. You don't need sign insert private key where it owns the file as a signature. The timestamp for the signature. That is not what we are going for. This is what is weird. And maybe I'm actually invoking. Hold on. I know they were listed in a particular order, but maybe they are not. By ingesting the signed digest to the unsigned. See, this is where I'm missing something, because where does file come from? Am I just blind or stupid? Do love that this pass has a period at the end. I don't know if that's significant. I suspect it's a mistake that just has never been fixed. Yeah, I'm okay. Not overly helpful. Let's see here. Sign command options. Let's just look here. Do you have anything beyond what your lovely thing by ingesting sign digest to the unsigned generates the digest, our path file name. That is effectively the exact same options as what we saw before. But one of these works. Verify command options, examples. There we go. Let's see. Do you have anything useful here? Not a darn thing. Let's see here. How to assign a digest generated by here. Does not look to be helpful in terms of understanding Signtool. Signtool/DI does not work. No. Does not work. It requires both a signing algorithm, and it requires no signing algorithm. But when it works locally, is it just because you're signed into Azure and the built-in VM is not? Oh, that is fair. I did not actually show that off. AZ account show. Signed in. So I should be signed in on the VM with the exact same account as what I am locally. So proof is in the pudding. Easy account show. Which the same one. So the Azure Trusted Signing relies on the default Azure credentials class from the Azure Identity NuGet package, which will look at a variety of places to figure out what your account is to sign into. If anything, my local system should be more hostile to signing in than the VM, because the VM has literally only been given the one account, and my local system has like all my accounts, and it generally likes to pick the wrong one. Which is very exciting. Did you use with DG and DS first? I think then DI would work without it. You'll find that you see the following error when you don't include the FD option. Blah, blah, blah. If the hacker show there's a new flag. So in theory, if I'm understanding this correctly, I should only need see, it was TD that was needed. FD. So I don't need TD because that was the timestamp algorithm. I am going to leave that. I should not need the timestamp server for this. So that should be able to go away. Oh. Wait, what? Successfully signed. Okay, so if you add, thinking maybe it adds an extra cert stores. No, it's certainly a good thought. Apparently, I want to get rid of this and get rid of this. Interesting. Okay. Though I'm not sure that this is an error. Like, mine's able to do some. I realized mine passed, but now I'm wondering. Like, it did all of this, but the certificate it used is probably incorrect versus the one that's going to reach out to the Azure Trusted Signing to be able to do it. I'm not. Let's see. The following certificates were considered issued to localhost, issued by. What did this one say? Why is this relevant? What is that GUID? Because it on mine it ends up selecting this one, and I am issued to. What is that GUID? It's not. Let's ask the AI overlords real quick. Ask the AI overlords. Okay, let's go here, let's go here, let's go here. Don't know if this is going to work, but my lovely AI overlord provided it. I want to know which... Where did this come from? What is this? Okay, let's just drop this for a moment. That's not the cert. Where is it finding it? I must have the wrong cert location. Let's see. Let me see. File, add, remove, snap-ins, certificates. Okay. There's our ugly GUID. Where did this come from? More importantly, what is it? What is it, and where did it come from, and how did it get here? Microsoft Your Phone? What the? This feels like one that shouldn't be here. Probably going to regret doing that. I also have no idea what is up with this color scheme. That's a nice feature. WinPro phone app. So I agree, Izzy. The part that's bothering me, I just formatted this machine like 8 days ago. Like, and I don't have that set up or configured. So it must have come built in on it, but okay. Well, at least now we're back into the happy place. Okay, there is no way that this thing worked because of that, right? I'm hoping. Okay. That's the default app installed. Okay. Well, that makes me feel better. But without it, it still does work. Just want to verify that it didn't cancel. Yeah, so it didn't put an extra cert in my thing. But it also did. But I am now actually back into the situation where now I'm getting the same error as what I got on my server, but that doesn't actually give me any confidence because when I run the full situation, it actually works just fine. So something here still processes properly when walking through this path or when walking through here that does not work out on the remote server. What is the difference? What is the difference? Lib. Parameter is incorrect. What the heck? How do we know which parameter it is? Because it clearly works local and there's something different. What would be different? Maybe we try this. Let's go back. I'm wondering, typical Microsoft pushware. Yeah. Nice part is I was able to delete it though. Okay, so I wonder if there's an extra prereq that I am missing. We've got the .NET 8 runtime because that's what I've got the full SDK. Maybe the C++ redistributable. we've got, like, I've got all of these set up already. Winget does not exist out on my remote VM, I don't believe. Yeah, didn't think so. Installing from PowerShell. I mean, we can run down this path and see. Because if this works, trusted signing client tools, I wonder if there is something extra that's being installed that's not obvious. Let's give this a try, because I'm wondering if there's just an extra dependency that is not documented here. So I need a PowerShell prompt. Probably I'm going to need to change my code execution, but maybe not. I don't remember what I said on here. Give this guy a moment to do all his install-y things, because I assume he's doing something. Okay. Please fail. Parameters incorrect. Okay, that makes me feel better that the installer doesn't set up something magical. A reboot might be worth testing. Let's see, summary of manual steps. Blah, blah. Like, we did all of this. Like, so this manual download of Signtool, like, this is what Velopack has checked into the repo. So, like, it's there. Right? And we require x64. We don't support x86, so that's not needed. We have the dealer package. We pulled it in. Trusted signing client. Yeah, because again, it works on my machine. Is it possible the default Azure credential is just failing for some reason? Maybe? I guess that's a possibility. Like, at some point, it would be nice if we could just go straight to the SDK, but this SDK wraps the trusted signing stuff. Like, we had looked at using the trusted signing SDK to try to do it cross-plat, but you can't. Authenticode is Windows only, and I was not able to find any options around it. This just doesn't give any useful information in terms of what else might be needed. I do wonder. I've got one thought. So let's try this. Process monitor. I would like to. No, I want the sysinternals. Let's see what we can get from here. This might yield something of interest. On agree. Okay, and oh, they changed the UI. Turn off capture. Okay, now we would like to filter Let's see, we would like to say if the process name is Signtool.exe, then include. How about is not Signtool, then exclude? Add it now, yes. Okay, so this just gives me Signtool bits. Okay. What are you doing? And more importantly, let's start at the end and work our way backwards. Because I am wondering if we can kind of infer what it was doing by backing into it. So you can sometimes get some very useful information from Process Monitor. This is a great way if you want to just know, hey, what is that file? Is that process thing touching? What is it going for? Oh, it opens. So it's getting all the way down to reading the metadata file. That's interesting. So it's getting much further than I had anticipated. Okay. So it got down, it actually loaded up the dlib. Oh. It's interesting. This shows page execute no cache. I'm not familiar with that. There's a lot in here that file lock with only readers. Oh, you know, I wonder if there is any reason to suspect. So let's check this. Okay. Theory. Microsoft Visual C++ redistributable. Let's grab that. Because that is something that my machine would definitely have from a Visual Studio install that the remote machine might not. Copy link. I wonder if there is something inside of the assembly that is expecting this guy to exist and it's not installed. Nope, it's already there. Dang it. Well, we'll repair the setup while we're in here just to say. Okay. That theory's kind of debunked. But we do get all the way into loading this up. Like it actually loads up and opens those files. So it's getting into the dlib. That is very, 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 very interesting. So it has to be getting down far enough to be making those calls. Interesting. And okay, so let me just make sure. .NET -- list SDKs, right? List runtimes. Like, as far as I'm aware, I'm good, right? Like I've got the Net 8 runtime, I've got the Net 8 SDK, I've got the Net 6 SDK because we compile for both. So I think I have all of the prerequisites. Like, let's check the version of Signtool. Like but again, it works on my machine and this exe is checked into the repository. So it'd be weird that it would fail, but uh, 10.22.621. 10.22.621. They've got 755 on the end. And we've got 2428. So we are newer. Right, like this should be fine. Why would this fail? This is where you need Windows Docker. Yeah. Yeah. And if it was just on my server, I could ignore it. But the fact that I get the same behavior on a GitHub action makes me immediately pause and go, hang on, something's off, right? Like there's, oh, actually, maybe that's a theory. Maybe that's a theory. They have a GitHub action. Where is... Which means they had to have gotten it working on a GitHub action. What does their GitHub action do? Windows 2022. So they have a requirement on PowerShell 5.1 and the .NET Runtime 6.0. Okay. I mean, this action here looks remarkably similar to like what we end up setting up. We end up having to auth with the Azure CLI. We end up passing these parameters through in a JSON file. These parameters Velopack passes through, and these parameters are hard-coded. So, given that, what... Hold on, let's take a quick gander. What does your action do exactly? What does your action do? You've got a metric ton of parameters. Okay, so you are installing the PowerShell module. Build tools NuGet. So you set up a bunch of versions on your outputs. Okay. And then it hits some caching, and then, hey, Master Gamer, welcome. Welcome. I will apologize. This isn't my normal streaming content. I normally do a lot more .NET. Today, I am just hating a bug and then determined to find it and fix it. So, chasing an issue with installer library that I work on called Velopack. There is a Azure Trusted Signing issue that only reproduces on, at least at present, GitHub Action Runners and my Windows 2022 server out in Azure. Let's see, invoke signing. What do you do? So this install module here, right? Like we could force the PowerShell module install, I guess. But last I looked, the PowerShell module is just wrapping the existing stuff. I was hoping to see something more interesting. What bug? So the bug in question, and actually I can link this out to people. So this is the runner. So this is the failure, and this is the frustrating part, right? So the key bit is that line right there, and trying to track down why this occurs. The really frustrating part is this works on my local machine. It works on my partner's local machine. It does not work on the runner. And a little bit further down, line 78, you can kind of see there's the command line invocation that was going. I initially had a theory that it had something to do with quoting or similar, and that, you know, a parameter wasn't just making it through on the CLI correctly. But I've gotten it down to where I can just press up arrow and we can try to invoke the command, and I'm getting the same response here, right? So that is what is, I am desperately trying to figure out how the heck this works. And the Azure Trusted Signing again, for people who haven't seen this before, if you were trying to sign your stuff, aside from this issue, it's really great. Like, it is very, very new, as in this year. They've been working on it for a while, and you can find was it Image Magic? I think it was Image Magic posted a blog post. They were one of the early beta testers for it, but they were in beta testing for like, I don't know, a couple years. I don't remember when that first article came out, but they have various signing, and so I was trying to pick apart their GitHub action to figure out what the heck it was doing differently. So this thing literally just shells out to the PowerShell module. That's it. That is it. What the heck? What the heck? And it works on Windows 2022. What runner are we using? Right? Like, what? Is that not the runner we're using? Like, isn't that our base image? Am I crazy? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, Izzy, is if there's something else that's being pulled in that it needs. That's why I was kind of hoping that if there was an additional dependency, I would see it in process monitor where it tries to reach out to do it. Like, sometimes I've used this as a way of figuring out when a library is missing particular DLLs or similar. When it tries to find something, and the problem is you get a lot of really low level stuff, and it's very nice, but it is not always the most helpful. Just trying to look through these ones that are. Let's go to the top. There's not, like, it didn't do that much when it fired off. Image based, desired access, read, session manager, blah blah blah, kernel 32, codify, open reg key. Like, it didn't ever get around. Did it try to read the Signtool.exe when I executed this? I don't know that I saw it even try to reach out. Right, like, it's pulling in all of the libraries, which kind of makes sense. Like, at some point, Signtool has to reach across. That's actually an interesting question. Is Signtool Yeah, it might be PowerShell load something. I've seen that before. Agreed. I am curious, though, now that you say that, is Signtool's not .NET, right? Don't tell me I could be debugging this sucker this whole time and I've just been too stupid to think of that. Yeah, okay, good. It's like there's no way Signtool is. Yeah, because I see MFC in here. Okay, that makes me feel mildly better, right? Like, I assume this guy here will be. Right? Like, this is what I would end up expecting to see come through, and even this guy here, right? Like, I expect. Yeah, so you are going to be the link. Hoi vey. Yeah, okay. Because I've gone through these ones here of trying, because this is what I was looking at when they talk about their SDK for the Azure Trusted Signing. It leverages a lot of these same DLLs. Master Gamer. Yeah, believe me, Master Gamer, I am very close to that same thing. Like, this is one of those problems that is highly problematic for me. I'm trying to decide if I want, how much I want to muck up my VM. I almost want to snapshot it real quick before I get carried away. Kick it, swear at it, and then try again. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I just wish I knew why or how. I was just mildly noticing these diagnostic scopes. Is there output here somewhere that I can get my hands on? Or do you go somewhere that's useful? Because I would really, 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 really love diagnostics. Like, you've got a string builder. Where do you write to? HTTP message sanitizer. Like, it's going. If it gets that far, it's going to make a network call. I don't think it made. Oh, for 7's sake. I don't think it made a network call. I don't think it got that far. Because it loads the assemblies. Query names. Because a lot of this is what you get around loading the .NET runtime. Like, it's going to be pulling a lot of this in. It pulls in the assemblies. It finds the nib sync, blah blah blah. Like, you never have to think about most of this stuff. We just like reference code and magic occurs. It references, it pulls it in, it loads the Visual C++ runtime. Cryptography. Boy, something in the back of my mind is willing to bet that there's a difference in that between my system and it. Yeah, so it queries the directory, it finds Squirrel.exe, so it reads the file. Sorry, just looking through to see what it's actually end up doing. Reloads all the assemblies. It reads in the metadata file. Okay, makes sense. Query directories, finds no more. I'm willing to bet this query probably came with a... I don't know if it'll show it to me, but I was going to say I'd be willing to bet it came with a searching for the Squirrel.exe, and it only found the one from before, so that there were no more, which would make sense. User settings not found. That's fine. We don't expect it. Closes that. NLS. See, and at this point, it's like it stopped. It's like it stopped. Let's. Okay, theory. I wanna test one thing. I want to run this on my system where it works and look at what the difference is there, because that was not that much. That was not that much. And paste. Yep. Go. I agree. Terms and conditions. Blah 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 blah. Okay. There's that. There's that, and there is. That is not the correct command. That is the correct command. Wondering if I just shot myself in the foot by running it twice. I should have probably cleared this before doing both. Yeah, let's clear and rerun. I want to have less data to look at. Okay, and then we turn off that. We go filter, and then we go process name is not Signtool.exe, then exclude it, add, apply. Okay, so now we are in the same situation. I kind of want to go to the bottom and rinse, repeat this thing back up again, because we got to, yeah, see, there's a lot more in here. Okay, so maybe I actually want to start higher up and then work my way down, figure out where this thing started to deviate. Oh, that's interesting. See, I'm wondering if it has something to do with the security encryption. Because right out the gate, even before it gets further down, it's already grabbing different stuff. Oh, see, this gives me a lot of pause. Like, it hasn't even gotten down to reading the file yet. And it's already pulling in... Oh, smart locker. Oh, don't tell me that. I don't want to know that. Okay, get me down to actually reading the file. Holy, there's the control set, WMI security. Man, this is all so bloody different than the other one. This is so incredibly different. Okay, here we get down to actually loading dlib. There's the runtime. Look at all that smart locker stuff. Oh no. I bet you that's related. I would bet that that is related. Happens that Michael, I have one error, fix it, and then I have 1,000 more, and that destroys me. The unfortunate part, Master Gamers, I think what you're describing is software development. There are days where I am convinced that software developers are masochists and kind of enjoy that level of pain and suffering problems. There is just so much different, and the smart locker stuff is the thing that's immediately getting my attention, and it is, oh man. So short version, I think comparing between the old and new, and there's also this crypt encoding. They are unintentional features, yeah. Yes, this is not a bug. This is an unintentional feature. We don't let you sign from Windows Server. Okay, we might just go down the PowerShell route and see if I can get this sucker to work. It's also interesting here. This one loads up the runtime config. Right? The other one didn't even bother to load the runtime config. We didn't see the host FXR load either. It's interesting. This is loading up. This is a .NET 9 runtime that it ended up picking up. No, there's not. There. That wouldn't make a difference, right? Right? No. And 6036. Let me look. What was the version we had here? 6036. So we got the same one installed out on the VM, but we didn't see it load up any of this.
It never got that far. Maybe it just loaded the assemblies and then gave up? Had an issue reading the file? Would that even make sense? Is there some weird thing about the temp directory of where it's being written to? Like, we're running as admin, right? Admin, like, it can't be a permissions problem. Do you have a global.json? So that is a good question. I don't. So the answer is no. The answer is no. I am a little interested in how this. That may be an interesting point. Because it would pick up, that would at least explain how mine shows .NET 9 is it would grab the latest. That is a very fair point. Yeah, and it actually queries the signing directory for all of the files, finds the core CLR. Okay, I'm wondering if it's not actually getting as far as I think it is. Yeah, that is a very good point. I only showed 8 and 6 on the VM. It does fall back to grabbing some of the 6036, which is on the VM. But you are correct. The DLL is hosted in Net 9. So, I guess let's give it a try. Because frankly, I'm running out of ideas of what the solution is here. So we can grab latest .NET 9. We'll grab the full SDK because that'll be more akin to what is on my local system. This will be weirder than all get out if this fixes it. Though at least it would make me feel a little bit better. Yeah, Master Gamer, that is a fair question. So it's not a simple answer. But let me back up and explain. So it is. So this is the repo in question. So Velopack here, and if you want more information, velopack.io, right? So this guy here is a cross-platform installer, library, and framework. In this case, we are specifically working on the command line tooling portion of this. So in the docs, if we talk about doing the packaging and then underneath the code signing, it is this small portion of it that we are currently working on. And so specifically the Azure trusted signing bits. That is the portion of this. So when we say what type of software, it is that. And in this case, the CLI bits in question are a .NET global tool. However, so that's what's failing is a unit test in a .NET project. However, we've isolated the code that's being run down to .NET starting a process that is calling Signtool.exe. And so we stripped out the invocation of Signtool, which is just all the way down in here. because it was doing cmd.exe/s/c and invoking Signtool.exe and doing all this extra complicated stuff. Stripped all of that out and actually removed .NET from the equation by just invoking the same Signtool executable on the command line ourselves. Right? The file in question that we are trying to sign is an executable that we compile. So we own the app that's being built, but it's just a small test.NET application. So it's nothing of huge significance. But that is the functional issue. Okay, so if we go here, right, now we show net9 runtimes. Okay. Right, so if I go here and I just check in the things. I don't know if I would necessarily say that. Things always seem. Oh, this is CMD. Things always seem very complicated until you get into the weeds on them, and then they just seem frustrating. But yeah, it is, and a lot of times I generally don't necessarily stream this because you get into a level of complexity and it becomes really hard for people to follow. But this problem has been plaguing me for over a week, and I'm very frustrated with it, and my brain wasn't going to let me sleep unless I had spent some time trying to solve it. And this is what's really frustrating, is Signtool is just straight giving me parameters incorrect. What parameter? Any of these up here are wrong. Some parameters wrong. I think it's referring to this. The problem being is we've tried feeding it in different other things. You know what? I wonder. Let's okay, just hypothetical here, real quick. Right, and this directory exists. Should be this one. Right? Okay, I just want to make absolutely confident that I'm clear where we're at. Okay. The path is correct. The file is there. There's nothing fancy about this. There's no access limitation, something, another weirdness, garbage. The parameter is incorrect. It has to be this, right? It has to be the last. It has to be something about the file that it doesn't like. I'm going to copy this entire command, and I am going to spin a new CMD process because I do not trust the current one's state. Let's see. Oh, I copied one too many characters. The app can't run on your... Wait a minute. Access is... Hold up. What is going on now? This is different. This is very different. That is fair, Master Gamer. I tell a lot of my colleagues that the lot of cases that, like, most devs, they build apps, right? They're usually hired and working for a company that has some business need, and their job is to build software to solve business need. Like that's what, you know, the vast majority of software developers are doing. Because usually it comes up in a discussion of the difference between app developers and library developers. Because it's like you've got app developers who are just focused on, you know, solve business problems, build apps, that kind of thing. The fun stuff is usually where you go. And then you get into library developers, which have to be a little bit more conscious of what they're doing, because they have to build code that isn't just going to be run in, one particular context. Like an app developer can usually assume, yes, my code runs in the context of my app, whatever that means, right? Particular runtimes, if you've got minimum system requirements, that kind of thing. You can put some restrictions around the box. Library developers, they can put fewer restrictions, and so they have to be a little more ingenious with their code at times. And then you get into like tooling authors that then do things like build this stuff, or you get further down into the people who do like the language design or the compilers, and dear heavens, having conversations with those people makes my head hurt. Okay, something seems very wrong here, that this command is now giving me an access denied. I'm very confused. Why would this be failing? This app can't run on your PC. What? Access is denied. Is something locking that file? There's got to be something locking the file. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Access is denied. Why would I be getting access denied to my own thing? World doesn't make sense again. Don't like it when it doesn't make sense. What the heck? Okay. Let's just terminate everything real quick. Make sure we've gotten everything out of the way. Okay. No fanciness here, right? Something is wrong. Something is very, very wrong. What would be locking my file? We just shut everything down. There's nothing running on this system. It should be a very clean system. It's not one of these, is it? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to take this, and we are just going to reboot this system. Wait a minute. Visual Studio's installed. When did you get installed? I didn't ask for that. Well, now that it makes me feel even worse. We're going to reboot the system. Yeah. Yeah, I work in development company in Spain. As you can guess, I don't speak English, but I do understand it, so I'm using Google Translate to write this. Oh, not a problem. And, honestly, like, even with Google Translate, the English was good enough that I probably wouldn't have noticed. Even for us English-speaking developers we tend to not be the greatest with language, and so it's very easy for us to have poor English, even if we are native English speakers. Give me a moment. I gotta get logged back into my VM. Log me back in. Log me back in. Okay, boom. Okay. Oh, hey, that's a big. That's sure. Now my screen is huge. Why? Okay, fine. You are. Actually, I think I can cheat it if I do that. And then do that. Bring it over. It's cheating. Remote resize of the monitor. Okay. Let's just go explore, and then if we go here, where did I clone it to? Was it documents? Dang it. Where did I've already lost my... Amen, Izzy. There we are. User directory. Okay, so if I go into here and I go vendor, and I go signing, and I go down to sign tool, and I double click.
What the heck? Did installing .NET 9... No. No. That doesn't seem... I'm still studying for when I move to Florida next year. Oh, that will be great. Florida, I've visited a handful of times. I'm actually the opposite corner of the country, up in Washington State. But I went to a friend's wedding down in Florida 5 years ago now, 6 years ago. It's very gorgeous. It can be quite warm and humid in the summertime, though. Okay. Let's uninstall Net9. I cannot believe that having Net9 installed makes the app not run. No. That can't be right. That cannot be right. Something like the app was working. What is going on? I'm going to be very, very annoyed. I should have snapshotted my machine before we started tonight. Dang it. Wait. Signtool.exe is 0 kilobytes. Well, I have a feeling I know why the, yeah, Windows showing off once again. Amen. What? Why did Signtool go to 0 kilobytes? What the heck is happening? What the heck is happening to me? Yeah, not shocking. The not too hard reset with paths. It's probably corrupt. Yeah, I'm thinking the exact same thing. Let's just reset. Let's go back into a clean, happy state. Okay, we got to go put the temp utils change back, but okay. So, what the heck? What? Huh? I have no idea what I did to cause that. That's very surprising to me. Okay. The nice part is we're back in a happy place. Let me go back and get the let's see, lib C# util temp util. Okay, so what was my root? Source. Thank you. Lib C# util temp util open with. Apparently I do have Visual Studio installed on this machine. I'm just very hesitant to open it now. Do
old school coding in Notepad. Okay. And then .NET build, release, make it so. That should get us back into a working state, and then we will go kick the test again. Let's see here. If we do, can I get a, come on. Just give me a file explorer. So I want to go to local app data. And I want to be temp, and then I want to be 2, and then this is where it's going to end up showing up. You killed your own code in Visual Studio 2. Yeah. Okay, we're going to get this guy going and then make sure that this all plays nice. Okay. So cd test. I'm in a command prompt. Cd Velopack packaging test. .NET test. Let's see. Release -- no build, so it doesn't recompile. And then I want to filter down to the testing class, which is this guy. Like that. Go, go, gadget, test. I'm going to be very annoyed if this magically works, because I'll have not changed anything. Good, it fails. That makes me feel warm and fuzzy, actually. Okay, so this is the command we want. And we want to open up a new command prompt because I want to leave that one sitting there. I want to make sure that we get the same output that we were getting before. Okay, good. That makes me feel significantly better. We are back into the same failing state. Okay, we can go ahead and put net9 back real quick, since I don't think installing net9 corrupted the file, but what do I know? Come on. Launch installer. There you go. We'll put net9 back and then rerun. What hour is it in your state? So right now it is 11:25 p.m. for me. I am West Coast time, so Pacific. Let's see the following. There is a .NET host running. Interesting. I wonder if I know when you run your tests from Visual Studio, it'll oftentimes leave the test host runner going as a performance optimization. I wonder if the same is true from the command line. So far to my... Sorry, Master Gamer, I'm not sure what to do with that last one. What else could it be? No, the other thing I could potentially do... So I am a Microsoft MVP, and I do have contact with the Azure Trusted Signing team when we signed up to use it with Velopack. So I could potentially reach out. I don't know that they're going to necessarily be Signtool experts, but they might know who is. And that might be good enough. I might have to send an email and see if I can track someone down at Microsoft who can shed some light on what the heck. It seems like there's something extra going on here. Okay, so if I go here now, All right, so that's the same error. I'm going to copy this command. I'm going to close this command prompt, and I'm going to open a new one just to make sure I don't have any cache state. Okay, same error. So net9 doesn't seem to make a big difference. Doesn't seem to make a big difference. And it does feel very instantaneous in its jumping. Is there... Because the other thing I kind of theorized on is that there has been an update to... it can't be the command line processing. I was going to say the command line processing, but that was back when I was theorizing that there was issues with quoting of the parameters. I don't think that's the case. You know, that's actually something worth testing, though, real quick. What happens if I do this in a PowerShell prompt? Let's see. So it's going to want me to do something more akin to this, right? Same error. So it shouldn't be related to anything weird with the command line parsing, since I've got two separate ones. Something in the back of my mind is telling me that the PowerShell terminal and the command prompt. My PC is a bit slow on average. 2 gigs of RAM and a X32 processor. Wow. Yeah, I will say that's actually kind of shocking for a lot of development machines, unless that's an ARM X32 processor. Then it makes a little more sense. But most things, like most developers, are going to be running significantly higher end machines. Even this VM that I'm playing on, I would classify it as small, but it's packing 4 gigs of RAM. It's not a lot, but it's packing a little bit. But it is an x64 processor. It is I think it's a B tier VM on Azure. Sign code returned error. What is going? Okay, so what else could it be, or how else could we debug this? All I know is that I'm getting back a parameter is incorrect. You know what? We're gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna copy this out. We're gonna Google with Bing, and we're going to see if we come up with anything that is remotely interesting. And it's specifically this error code is what I want to see, because it's clearly parameter validation errors. And it is not netting anything of what? Am I crazy? Oh, that's interesting. That is very interesting. The fact that it's the same error code, this is now making me very suspicious that the error code is actually not coming from Signtool. This makes me suspicious that this error code is coming from some Win32 API that Signtool is invoking. That That makes me a lot more suspicious. They show me this. Yeah, it works. But how to say it dies with a blue screen before opening VSC? Yeah. I am not that surprised. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay. Okay, change of plans. Change of plans. We are not going here. We are dropping Signtool out of here because the method in question that it's squawking about, I am willing to bet someone who has access to the source code, who could look at sign code sign. This is a function that is probably invoking a Win32 API. The Win32 API is coming back with this error and this message, which is why it looks like garbage. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Ah. This looks more... Okay, this is now netting... Okay. This doesn't give me a lot of hope for my GitHub Actions runner, but it does give me hope for this. This is not helpful. Parameters, when you try to display a user's effective access to a file. Null owner filled. When net share get info. Oh. Windows Server 2012. Okay. Wait a minute. So you're telling me if I run Windows Update, I can fix this? Well, I'll have to put up with it. Be able to buy an i9 for my new PC. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and install this. Some updates are managed by your organization. What organization? This is my VM. I would like... Yeah, we're gonna let this thing think for a minute while it installs that. But I am wondering if this is my root cause. The following files are available for download. These don't reference Windows Server 2022, only 2012, which gives me a bit of pause. That is cold. Yeah, it is. If this ends up actually fixing it, like I don't know how I fix this on a GitHub runner. Like that would be like I would have no idea. But if this fixes it on my machine, that at least gives me something to go on. It also gives me the potential of being able to know which update fixes it and then being able to report that. Because that would actually be actionable data for somebody to go and play with. I wish I could tell, because it's this definitely strongly indicates to me that there is a an API that's doing this. And I wish I could tell which API it was. So, failed requests. I am now wondering if I look in the event viewer, because that screenshot looks like it's coming from there somewhere. Certificate templates revoked, issued certificate failed request. I am wondering if this is... Let's look, because if I run MMC, and then we... Is it the certificate tab in here? So I'm only running this on a VM right now because I can't reproduce this issue on my local machine. Everything works fine. And the only reason I spun this VM is because my GitHub action is running Windows Server 2022, and so I theorized that it might be related to a operating system difference, and this was the easiest way to get me a Windows Server 2022 computer to play on. Which is the only reason I'm powwowing in here. Where do you view certificate? I'm trying to see if there is a place to be able to get that information. I wonder if there is a way to look at event viewer view. That's not helpful. That is also not helpful. This is where we were at before, I think. Yeah, because it was proposing this location for looking at the issue, but I don't think we saw anything inside of here when we went here before. I don't believe. Let's see. Event viewer local, application service logs, Microsoft, Windows. That's right, Apex packaging. And this is where it was proposing that it might be, but there is nothing after startup. Nothing there. I am wishing I knew where this was. Wait for AD replication. As for the MMC test, empty list. This is where we got to this enrollment, I believe. Let's see, go to, and this is where, how do we get this web enrollment configuration? Let's go look at that key here. I am somewhat interested in what that might be set to. Let's see here. Come on. Finish installing. I saw you. It was like you paused until I looked at you, Windows Update. I'm watching you. I can see you. You don't get to hide. Let's see. I want the registry. Regedit. Okay. Windows 10, not 19. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Local machine. System current, wait, that's users. System, current control set, services, cert. This needs to be up higher. Let's see. There's nothing, that key doesn't exist. I'm in the right place, aren't I? H key, local machine, system, current control set, services, cert service. It's not there. Great. You can check the current user hive, but I'm fairly confident I'm not going to find anything there. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. But it does seem to hint that it would be around the certificate issue. Is it a pirate system? No, so this is a legitimate Windows one. So, let me see if I can find it here real quick. So it's this one here. So I have a some Azure credits due to an MSDN subscription. And so I just went in here and created a new virtual machine and then spun it up. Oh yeah, no problem at all whatsoever. I wish I knew where that error was coming from. Cert util. Let's just take a while this thing is thinking about what it's done. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's see here. Oh wow. Okay, so that's a lot. But at least I got something. Dumps the configuration to use the file. Resubmits pending. Okay. Let's just ping. Win32. System cannot find the file specified. This is making me suspect that we are now on the right path. As this seems to indicate that there is something not set up on these systems. That is now my working theory. Oh, but this is this. Dump certificate view. Take a look. System cannot find the file specified. Let's see. Dump and question mark. Well, good luck, Izzy. Have fun. Enjoy the party. It'll be great. I'm sure of it. Is there any reason? That worked just fine. Did you actually dump anything? It appears that the answer is no. Okay, fine, Windows. We'll give you your reboot. Yeah, okay. We'll give that just a second to start back up. The nice part is these things reboot very, very quickly. Nice part about Azure VMs, they are fast. Grab my RDP session and get logged back in. Love it, Master Gamer. That's not what I need. I'm wondering if someone else has hit this in another case. Dramatical errors, I try to say. Should be able to successfully. So core which supports net framework. That doesn't seem right, but that's only 2 years old. Come back to that theory. Find a system file. But it appears to also apply with SHA-2. There are any entries there? Did it not start my VM? Google Grammatical Corrector. I hate that thing. Okay. Launch. Okay. Back in. Back in. Come on. Get all the way logged in, Windows. There you go. Nope. Nope. Not what I told you to do. Not what I told you to do. Don't resize to be that big. I want you to be that big here. And I want you to be over here and not be that big. Okay. There we go. So. We are going to come over here, and the first thing I want to do is I want to check updates because I am not. Yeah, check for updates. I don't care that that thing just went green. Check again. And then I think what we want to do here is I want to launch this. I want to go here. Yep. CD tests. I'm more active in this chat, but hey, like that, finally the people hear me. I'm glad. It's always good to have somebody around. I will admit, I am fading fast. It is almost midnight here, and I am running on a low amount of sleep and entirely caffeine fueled at the moment. Let's see. No build, and I want to filter, and I want the name of my class as my filter because there's only one test in it, and I want to go bippity boppity booyah. I don't think this is going to make a difference, but oh, you know what? I wonder. We're going to try something. 2:52 in the middle of the night. Wow. Just hypothetically. I am curious what... Only because it appears to be related to certificate store access is my new working theory. Okay, so it still failed out, which is good because that's kind of what I was expecting to see. Why you being a pill? And then I want to go there. That's the command I actually want. Same issue. Oh, listen to the neighbors playing full volume music in the distance. Ouch. Ouch, at 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, what is going on? I might have to punt and see if I can reach out to somebody at Microsoft to give some explanation, because this is somewhat brutal to not be able to run this command. Did not have any useful information out of it either. It really does feel like the issue has got to be down in this vicinity. Let's try this, just hypothetical. Utils, install default template. So util install default templates plural. Let's see. Error can't access domain info, which is either because the machine is available or access has been denied. What? I am confused. Why is that a thing? Yeah, things that happen in life. CA doesn't publish domains to trusted server. What, like, why am I hitting this? Single level domain deposit. The certificate authority snap in, right click. Okay. I think I understand. This is definitely getting out of my wheelhouse. But is it going to be here? Is it going to be seek service event? Like, I'm unsure what is being requested. Okay. because this appears to be something that you would set up on the CA itself. Active Directory site snap-in. Command that's a problem in Windows Server. This might be way more effort than it's worth. Let's back up. Azure Trusted Signing. This one here. Let's see here. Set up signing integrations. And then let's look at the PowerShell one. We've got that. We've got that. Create a JSON file. Authentication. We did all that. PowerShell. See, trusted signing in PowerShell gallery. Let's try here. Let's give this a shot. So I recently moved back in August, and so the neighborhood I moved to is actually very quiet. But part of it is I'm kind of in a weird spot where my neighbors aren't overly close because my house kind of backs up to the side of a hill. And then on another side there is a river. So there's not a lot of space where neighbors can be that would make a lot of noise. So that definitely helps with the quiet. Let's see. Yes. We're gonna go down this PowerShell route real quick and see where we land. Yeah, in general it's fairly quiet, which is nice. That's actually been one of the things that I've enjoyed most about it. Let's see, CI policy signing follow. See, we don't need to sign a policy. What I would like to do though is I would like to invoke trusted signing, and I would like to know what else is needed. We're just gonna go here, up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, enter. Oh, and there is the signal. So I have my VM set to auto shut down at midnight every night as a cost-saving method. And I think it's hinting that I need to be done for the night, since it is officially killed me and taken me out. So I think I may end up calling it for tonight, since I think I have reached my end of sanity of what I can handle. So Master Gamer, thank you for coming and hanging out. Izzy, as always, it was good, and everyone else silently lurking in the chat. So hopefully we'll get back to some more regular C# stuff and XAML related things soon. I've just been really pushing to try to get this Velopack stuff buttoned up and ready to go out the door. So with that, I think I'm going to tell everybody happy coding. We'll see y'all next time.